I just won an A tier against some of the greatest players to play the game. And I'm like, this could be a thing. And that was when was that? That was in like February. I think it was in March actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I only have like a couple more months left of high school. I was a senior that year. So I'm like, well, this sucks. I gotta base it off of disc golf or college. And obviously, I think I finished high school 1,000 rated, I believe. So I could have competed, but I'd also be jumping into the season halfway. I have no clue what I'm doing, and everyone wants me to go to college. So I ended up going to college for a semester at Coastal Carolina in Myrtle Beach,
Mm-hmm.
where I call my second home. Shout out to all my Myrtle Beach gang out there. But yeah, I did that for like 4 months, I think. And I hated it so much.
Really?
My roommate was like a drug dealer. He had the police banging on the door all the time. Like my stuff would get stolen all the time. Yeah, I mean, college was crazy. I mean, it was the first time I moved out and did my own thing. And I didn't like it. And that was when I started winning more tournaments as a pro. I was getting my rating up to almost like 10-10 by the end of the year. And one of my homies, Chris Brown, I don't know if you're familiar with Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I hung out with him like every night when I was in Myrtle because he was 2 minutes from campus. So he helped me a lot as well develop and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. I was literally at his house putting every night. That's what we would do. So it was awesome. But yeah, big shout out to Chris and Hope Brown as well. I've seen Hope come a long way.
Yeah, she's sick too.
Yeah. But yeah, both of them are really a big part of my college life and helping me decide what I want to do after this. Yeah, then I ended up dropping out. The old good college dropout.
Classic. Well, then you dive into this unknown world. Like, what happened? What was the post dropout series of events?
Well, I pretty much just told my mom and my parents and everything. I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. I want to go play disc golf because I feel like I can do it, you know. And they were 100% on my side and just said, just go for it if you want to do it. And then obviously with Big Germ being in Charlotte, you know, he's touring all the time. I hit him up. I said, hey, do you want a touring partner for next year? And we sat and talked about it and we worked at everything out. And that's kind of how I dived into everything, was with someone who knew what they were doing, someone who's won tournaments, and someone who would give me some good insight on how to tour, you know, how to win in pressured situations, how to win and just have a good time.
Yeah, Germ has had one of the most underrated careers as a player out of anybody on tour. I think nowadays, obviously, he's this big media personality, but I don't know how many people realize how many big tournaments he's actually won.
Yeah, he's won Memorial, he's won USDGC.
He's won
which
Waco.
I caddied for him at USDGC the year that he won.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. He won Waco twice in a row, and he won Maple Hill.
Yeah, so I mean that right there, those are the tournaments that you'll get remembered for. Like Maple Hill, if you win that tournament, like you're a baller. People trash on him now because it's just like, you know, he's meme material at this point because he's a big media personality. You can't really escape it. But yeah, he's an awesome player to start touring with. And you being lefty, he's like sidearm dominant. So like, did you get to take lines from him like when you were first on tour?
Yeah, I mean, anytime he was throwing a sidearm, I asked him like, what are you aiming at? So I can try to pinpoint my backhand to that. And I mean, most of the time it would work out pretty well. But then, and then you get to a point, I'm like, I don't need to ask him for help anymore. I'm good.
Yeah. So then, what was that, initial touring season like? Like, did you feel like you were like coming into your own? Like, what were you learning over that first year?
I'm not gonna lie, I killed it first year I went out. My first ever national tour that I played was at Vegas, the first tournament of the season, and I was on top of second card going into the third round. I missed lead card by one stroke. And I'm like, holy crap, like what's going on right now? Who am I? This is fun. But yeah, I got 8th place. Missed USDGC spot by 1. And I'm like, all right, this is a good start here. Memorial had a okay finish, like 25th or something. And then we get on to like the Texas swing. Texas, I didn't really understand at first. It's my first year, so I'm trying to learn all these courses, all the area that it's in, like how discs fly differently everywhere you go. So Texas didn't really treat me too well, except I did beat German at a tournament there.
Nice.
At a B tier. So that was nice. And then I guess you can fast forward a little bit. I got either 7th or 9th at Santa Cruz at Masters Cup, which is a very big tournament. And then we go to Worlds, and I get 7th place at Worlds that year.
That's insane.
And that's kind of when things started to click. I'm like, all right, we could actually do this,
Yeah, definitely. As a lefty, that's so difficult to do at the World Championships.
And I was 18. And then my birthday was the day after Worlds, so I just turned 19. So I'm 18 years old, coming in 7th place at Worlds with clearly everyone, like the best players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that tournament, I got bumped up to the elite team on Discraft, which they don't really bump up halfway through a season. But yeah. I got the okay on that, and I was pumped, dude. I was so excited.
I bet. I mean, that's huge. That's like, and at the time, like, not many people were getting signed to those types of deals when you were playing, when you were touring. Like that's a big bump. Like, were you nervous at all? Like, was that a lot of pressure for you? Like,
oh, I mean, of course. Yeah. I mean, I had big shoes to fill. I mean, at the time it was Doss, MJ, Tim Barham, and myself and Valerie. So we had 5 players. Like, Discraft was not the company that people wanted to go after for or to throw. We didn't have all the flashy discs that we do now. Like, I've been a big Discraft fan since basically I started. So I love seeing the process of it growing, but with Doss, slowing down a little bit and wanting to start his brewery, I'm like, they're like, you're going to be the next Doss. You're going to be the face of our company. I'm like, oh boy, that's kind of when like all the nerves kicked in. I'm like, I have a lot of expectations on myself now. And then I think that's what hurt me the most.
It's a lot for a young kid. Like you never know what an 18-year-old is capable of shouldering.
Right.
I
didn't think I was going to be in that position that fast.
Yeah.
So where they're like, oh, you're going to be the next face of the company. Like, you need to win. So
yeah.
And you got to be consistent every tournament. I'm like, wow, this is tough. But yeah. I mean, I finished 2017 off really well. Almost won Hall of Fame Classic, lost by 3 strokes on that one. We were on lead card last round, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, 2017 was the year to look back on, and I still look back on it for sure.
Definitely. I mean, dude, you come out on tour, you have no expectations. You're like the little kid on tour, there's no one expects you to do anything good. The universe doesn't expect you to succeed. So you have everything to gain, nothing to lose. And yeah, it's crazy when the thing that you've been doing since you were, riding your bike to the course turns into this career, this job. And when anything turns into a job, I don't care if you knit or you bake bread, like, it's hard, and it changes a little bit. So then I guess for you signed this contract mid-year, you finished the season well. What does that off season look like going into 2018? Like, were you trying to take it more seriously, or were you trying to go with what was working?
So 2018 was when I dabbled in the gym a little bit because I was skinny. So I was just trying to gain some weight, get some reps in, and just have the body flowing. So I did that all off season. I got to I think the highest I got was like 185. It is so hard to have a clean routine while traveling.
Yes.
And that's something that I look back on. Like, it's so tough. So I spent all the work in the gym, and I lost all of it. And I could see that going through the season. Like, I just got fatigued. And like having like what we said, I had so much pressure and so many expectations after what the 2017 season I had. I brought that into 2018 and just flip-flopped it. Like I just couldn't get things rolling. All I was thinking about was like, oh, you got to play really good here. Like you got to do better than you did last year. And that just really screwed me over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like you were focused way more on the result than the process at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you always got to trust the process, you know?
That's right. Well, I mean, but especially in disc golf, like the moment you start thinking about what something could be or what something might be, then you're not focused on what you're supposed to be focused on. And it can happen throughout an entire season. Or like, it's interesting touring and we see the same people week after week. And we can see burnout in certain people for like 3-week stretches. You know, you play with someone and you're like, oh, I hope that person's okay. You know, like, and someone who you know is an amazing player is just like completely shanking shots. And you're like, whoa, this is just, it's because we're in such close proximity to these people week after week. And the game of disc golf is even more, to me, even more crazy stuff happens in disc golf than traditional golf. There's the Frisbee is such a strange piece of sporting equipment. So it's hard to be consistent week after week. And yeah, I can tell that it's been weighing on you, or it weighed on you at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much just threw away 2018. I had a couple good finishes, but I mean, I played the whole season, I think. No, I didn't. So 2018 was when I was going through a lot of, you know, just complications with my game. And that was when I left Germ for touring. We just ended up not flowing well. And I think that could have been also a little bit a part of it. Because the traveling it just wasn't fun anymore.
It's not easy to travel with another person who's like a professional athlete. No matter who it is, it's hard to tour with somebody.
I still text them and hang out with them anytime I'm in Charlotte, but it's hard to be with somebody all the time and traveling with them all the time. Like you're going to have complications, you know?
Definitely.
But yeah, so I left him in June, went back home after Beaver State Fling. I'm like, I got to reevaluate here. And the rest of the season, I just kind of picked. I mean, I still played all the tournaments. I flew out, just got rides from like Yulee, Grady Shoe, and then the East Coast was the last bit. So I was at home. I could drive to the tournaments and whatnot. But yeah, that was kind of when I need to reevaluate everything, because I just went from a crazy year to just a terrible year. Mm-hmm. And I had to figure out how to fix it.
Did you figure it out?
I thought I did. Mm-hmm. The biggest setback was 2018 at USDGC. I was practicing and then I felt something in my back just like pop. And I literally couldn't walk for like a day or two. Like anytime I've been over, I had pain. Like I was in so much pain. I ended up dropping out of USDGC. I was shooting like 25 over the last round because I couldn't move. Mm-hmm. I couldn't throw the disc right. Like I was literally in so much pain. So I took a couple months off, probably 2 months off, just try to let my body heal a little bit. And then I didn't really go to the gym that off season just because of the injury. I didn't want to make it any worse. Not knowing now that if you hurt something, it's better to go work it out. Yeah. So now I know it now, so it's good. But yeah, after a couple months, I was feeling fine. I'm like, all right, let's do it again in 2019 and let's see how it goes. And that's when I got in with you and Yulee in the big old RV.
Yeah, the bus.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah,
all I remember is me and Bob were just sitting in the back watching movies while you guys drove, because I knew I was gonna.
You were in the car when we drove through that snowstorm.
Dude,
gosh.
That was the scariest hour and a half of my life that I've ever been in.
Lay it out for the listeners. This was us finally getting the RV. This is when Yulee got the RV. Me and you jumped in with him. And then this was Discraft trying to get out from Michigan to Las Vegas to start the season.
Yeah. Well, so we actually went to Arizona first.
Yes.
And then we went to Vegas. But I think we were driving through like Flagstaff, I believe. So the mountains of Arizona. And it for some reason, we drive through when there's a blizzard blowing down on the mountain. And we're going down this like 2-lane road, maybe. I think it was a 2-lane road, super windy road, all downhill. And it was like what, 60 miles or something? And no joke,
insane.
No joke. This trip just to get down the mountain was like almost 2 hours. It seemed like.
And the road, I think something happened where the main road we were supposed to take was closed, and we had to take like a side road, and the side road wasn't plowed, and there was like,
oh yeah, no, you couldn't see any bit of the road. You couldn't see the lines on the road. Like you just had to go based off. Okay, where does the road meet the trees? And I need to not hit the trees in a 35-foot RV.
Oh yeah, it was. I believe it was like 22,000 pounds. Like it was just an absolute beast of an RV. I think they still use it to like take it out on like staff trips and whatnot. But also, I don't know if you remember this, but the windshield wiper didn't work. So we turned the windshield wipers on when the ice started hitting the windshield, and it just started spinning. There was no like limiting factor to how far it could wipe, so it just kept spinning in circles. Oh my God, what a crazy time. I forgot that you were in the RV with me.
I'm pretty sure that we stopped like that day because the windshield wiper broke. So we stopped at a rest stop to try to fix it, and it just wasn't, it was done.